Assalamu alaikum. Hello dear students. Welcome you to my YouTube channel T Mustajir. Today I will discuss about one of the greatest and finest tragedies of Shakespeare's, Macbeth, and the tragic hero Macbeth's damnation, how he failed, how he damned himself. I will discuss here today about all this. I hope you will listen carefully what I will discuss here. Today's topic, Macbeth, the man is a study in self-damnation. Macbeth, a Scottish general, brave general, received a prophecy from a trio of witches that one day he will become the king of Scotland, and in this way his damnation started. Macbeth was a great person At first he was a great person, he was a great general. All the things were going so well. But when he heard the prophecies from the witches, and he also had some little desire in his mind to be a king, that instigated by the witches' prophecies, the tragedy began from there. Shakespeare's heroes, in fact, are always exceptional persons carrying the high position. In Macbeth, ambition and temptation both plays a key factor. It is in fact ambition which causes downfall of Macbeth. Macbeth is inspired by the prophecies of the witches to be ambitious, and his ambition is driven by Lady Macbeth. Macbeth throughout the play is presented as one much above the ordinary beings, and as such he fulfills the basic requirements of a tragic hero. Shakespeare introduces him as a brave general, a bold, resolute man of action, who has through sheer personal prowess quelled a revolt against tremendous odds. He is referred to as Valor's minion, Bellona's bridegroom, the king's valiant cousin, a very eagle among the sparrows, a lion among the hares. But his fall arouses less sympathy than that of Hamlet, Othello, or King Lear, in that it is due to a contemptible flaw in his character, the same as that caused Saturn's fall, namely unscrupulous ambition. As a sinner, Macbeth's position is no better than that of Saturn. Saturn, inspired by ambition, severed his bond with God and revolted against him. Similarly, Macbeth is led by ambition to try to rise above his appointed position on the great chain of being, and so faces damnation, as Saturn did. Macbeth's tragedy, therefore, like Saturn's, is a tragedy of ambition. In Macbeth, mating with the witches, in fact, fans Macbeth's ambition. The witches have chosen Macbeth as the victim of their machinations only because Macbeth has a secret desire to become the king. The thought of murdering Duncan's revives in Macbeth's mind the moment Duncan announces the nomination of Prince Malcolm as the heir to the throne after according a royal reception by the victorious Macbeth. He now finds his chance of becoming king sleeping away and thinks of taking quick action. Duncan's decision to visit Macbeth's castle makes him more firm in his intention. When Macbeth returns to his castle, his wife refers to the necessity of assassinating Duncan for Macbeth's attaining kingship. Macbeth's conscience is being defected by the forceful arguments that revive his ambition to such an extent that he is now forced to ignore conscience and agree to his wife's plan. I am settled and bent up each corporal assent to this terrible fate. With the decision to assassinate Duncan, Macbeth's tragedy has begun to take shape. But his conscience has not yet given up, and it continues to fight ambition, thus helping to make his self-damnation more intense even moments before the murder. His conscience appears in full force through his imagination and tries to dampen his ambition by showing him visionary dagger dripping with blood, symbolizing the horror of the proposed crime. Macbeth's ambition, aided by his wife's imagination, is by now too strong for his conscience, which is ignored. As soon as he commits the murder, he can again hear the disturbing protest of his inner self. He hears one prince cry, "God bless us," and the other, "Amen," but he cannot say Amen to them. He has also heard a voice, the voice of his conscience, continually cry, "Sleep no more." The voice keeps ringing in the ears. The drops of blood on his hand plague at his eyes, and the consciousness of the deep damnation of his taking off will not leave him alone for a moment. Conscience now gnaws at him and makes itself articulate in the form of unforgettable sighs and haunting sounds. Macbeth is now overwhelmed with a sense of the futility of the crime and an equally strong sense of remorse. His speech after the discovery of Duncan's murder, in the words of Shakespeare, "Had I but died an hour before this chance, I had lived a blessed time, for from this instance there is nothing serious in the morality, all is but choice, renown, and grace is dead." In spite of his sense of futility, which causes Macbeth's heart sickness and his agony of restlessness, he continues to proceed steadily along the path of self-damnation. A fever in his blood keeps him away from conscience and urges him on to ceaseless action and to desperation. Macbeth is now possessed of two contrary feelings: sickness of heart, weariness, ennui on the one hand, and a mood of all-defying fury and ruthlessness on the other, both originating in the same source: frustrated ambition and tortured conscience. In the second meeting, the witch's speeches force him to stride from crime to crime. Macbeth sees Banquo's ghost at the banquet, Flames escapes, and Macbeth's crime is exposed. Macbeth cannot rest, his agony is not abated. The scorpions within his mind have destroyed his peace as well as his conscience. Macbeth, as a tragic hero, stands apart from the other tragic heroes of Shakespeare. In Hamlet, Othello, or in King Lear, we do not find such conflict of good and bad impulses that guides Macbeth's career. Unlike the others, Macbeth is a potential criminal who begins as a hero but ends as a villain. Hamlet, Othello, and King Lear retain their goodness till the end, and as such their ends draw great pity from the readers. Here with Macbeth, who loses much of audience sympathy during his steady moral degeneration, his end seems justified and produces a mixed emotion of pity and relief. Macbeth ends up as a criminal, and yet he is a tragic hero in the fullest sense of the term. he reveals traces of humanness even when he has become a lost soul. His sufferings, his haunting imagination, his remorse, and his increasing and deepening isolation force us to retain pity for him. However little it may be, throughout the play, the return of his old glory prior to his end, his grand defiance of earth, hell, and heaven, and his decision to die with a harness on our back, revive some of our admiration and awe for him. Indeed, in no other tragic hero of his has Shakespeare displayed so much understanding of the complexity of human nature as he has done in the portraying the character of Macbeth. In fact, Macbeth's self-damnation, how it has come to him, it was a little bit essence of a desire that he carries in his heart, that he will become the king. The witch's prophecies instigates this, and Lady Macbeth did the last thing. She always inspires Macbeth that you should become the king, you should kill king, you should be the king of this place. And Macbeth did all the crimes and he got damnation. But at a point he got the mental torture, the agony in his heart after killing King Duncan. That arouses some kind of pity for him. That makes him a tragic hero. And Shakespeare's the greatest hero, Macbeth's desires and ambitions cause his soul to become damned throughout the play, in fact. That is the story, that how Macbeth has become a king, has damned himself, how he did all the crimes, how the witches instigates him, how Lady Macbeth inspires him. And he did not listen to his heart, did not listen to his soul. He did all the things that he listens from others, or that he has nourished in his heart, that I will be the king. His sky-kissing ambition is only responsible for his downfall. Discussed here that how Macbeth has got prophecies, how Macbeth has got his self-damnation. I hope the students will get some benefits from this discussion. See you in the next class. Thanks for today. Allah Hafiz.